Hello, welcome back to our channel, and today we will have another Bible reflections, and this focuses in Genesis chapter 1, particularly the terms good and very good. Don't you know that after God's every creation act, day by day He described it as good, and then on the last part He described it as very good. So we'll focus on this term. So the first thing in Genesis chapter 1 verse 1, that the terms good and very good are central in the understanding of God's creation and His intent in His creations for the world. And when God saw that it was good, this was repeated multiple times throughout His creative act. And after, on the finale, when He created man, He said in Genesis chapter 1 verse 31, He said, very good. So there is a distinct meaning and theological meaning of this term. So let us go into and dive into the meanings of good and the very good in Genesis chapter 1. So if you are new to this channel, I would like to invite you to like and subscribe and share this content, supporting us to propagate, expand the knowledge of the scriptures and invite people to be inspired more in reading the scriptures, the Bible. So let's go with the first meaning of the good and the very good in Genesis chapter 1. The God's goodness is reflected in His creation. This is the first thing that I would like to emphasize as we reflect on the good and the very good terms that you can find in Genesis chapter 1, that God's goodness is reflected in the creation act. We have to take note that whatever we saw today, the damage that probably we have done throughout the years in God's creation, but in the beginning of God's creation, He put into the goodness beyond imagination. It is God's goodness. So right there, that's the first point, that God's goodness is reflected in the creative act of God. The light, the plants, the animals, all of these things He created. And after His creation, prior to man, He said every day that what He was done, He saw it as good. This emphasizes that everything He makes has an inherent value and purpose. It also highlights the goodness that determined by human standards, but not determined by human standards, but by God's standards of goodness, God's standards of perfection, wisdom, and design. So we are not created by random. We are not created by accident. Now let's go to the second term. The second point. The second point is that the term very good signifies completeness. So after creating the human being, He described in Genesis chapter 1 verse 31, He saw what He was done as very good. Genesis chapter 1 verse 31, after creating the human being. This suggests that the fullness of God's creation with humans as God's image bearers and a reflection of His ultimate plan, there is a transition from the good to the very good. This points to the harmony and the completeness of all things that are working together under the rule of God. Then let's go to the third point. The third point is that a call to stewardship and responsibility. A call to stewardship and responsibility. Because creation is both good and very good, humanity has a responsibility to take care of it. Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 to 28 gives us the idea that we have the dominion. We are stewards over the earth. But as a steward, because the creation has the intrinsic value of God's goodness, God reminds us that we need not to exploit it, but rather to cultivate it and protect it, as God declared that it was very, very good. So this is a challenge for us to revere, to try to live in the way that could honor God rather than violate, uh, trespass or damage His creation. Now to conclude, the terms good and very good in Genesis chapter 1 reminds us of God's perfect creation, His intentional design, and our role within it. So while sin distorts the goodness in the following chapters of the book of Genesis, we will see the story that there are, sin damage what God has done, but still the world is reflecting His glory, where all things work together in harmony and is under His loving care. I hope you like our daily Bible reflections on Genesis chapter 1, particularly on the terms good and very good. I hope you like, subscribe, and share this content to expand our community on on reading the Bible, inspiring people by reading the Bible. And have a good day, everyone. See you next time.